Go ahead and just get us started. We have a pretty full list of open mic readers tonight, so I want to be mindful of everyone's time, but I'm so excited to see everyone virtually here. My name is Nia McAllister. I am the Visitor Experience Manager at the Museum of the African Diaspora. And as I mentioned earlier, when we were all chatting, this program has been going on since April of 2018. So it's a little bit over 2 years in the running. And it's a program that I'm really proud of having started and really been able to build and create this community space for all of us. And so it's something that began very small with probably like 5 of us, half of us being staff members who happen to enjoy poetry and art. And it's built over the years, and it usually happens every third Thursday of the month. We usually have free admission, and a lot of the other neighboring museums do as well. So it's very lively. So I am missing that energy that we have in person now that we're in this new phase. But I'm very happy that we've been able to adapt in this way and kind of create a new vision for what this looks like. The reach that we've been able to have and have folks calling in from far beyond the Bay Area has been extremely exciting. So I'm super fortunate that we've been able to build this space together. So just a few housekeeping things before we get into it. We have a full open mic lineup. So I'm gonna ask all the readers to please keep your pieces that you're sharing around 3 minutes, whether that's one short piece or one longer piece, 2 shorter pieces, whatever that may be for you. And so right now, I think most people are muted, so I ask that if you are not the person reading, please keep your microphone muted. Though part of what's exciting about open mics is the energy and the way that we can respond to each other. So I encourage people to, virtually snap or clap and also use the chat box as well. If you feel compelled from lines people are sharing or want to affirm readers, please share those thoughts in the chat, and that's a way that we can still engage with each other's pieces. So for this evening, I'm also really excited that our feature tonight is Jess Care Moore, who will be calling in from Detroit. So we're going to be mindful also of the time difference, and so she's going to be joining us midway through the event. So we're going to start the event with the first half of our open mic readers, welcome Jessica and have her do her feature, and then we'll close out the event with our remaining open mic readers. So I'm pretty sure those are all the main housekeeping things. I'm about to post the lineup in the chat, and then we'll get started. So our first reader for today is Carla Brundage. Welcome to the mic.
Thank you. Thanks, Nia. I woke up this morning and looked at my phone per usual and saw the news of Ahmaud Arbery. And I'm a runner myself. Anyway, I've been thinking about that all day, and I decided I would read this piece. I wrote it a while ago. It's called Police on TV. And I actually wrote it in response to like Ice Cube and Ice-T and their new roles on all these TV shows. So, here we go. Police on TV are vulnerable. They run across streets, over rooftops, knocking over flowers and people. They charge down alleys, jumping over balconies and downstairs. Their cars jump bridges, fly over other cars, bashing and crashing into others in the name of justice. They leave a wake, overturned collateral damage. They are thoughtful, reflect on the consequences of their actions, inspect all the evidence, second guess, inquire, think critically. Their heroics create an image, the lone cop, the lonely, hard-boiled avenger of justice. Cops on TV make bonds with their victims, have great dialogue, one-liners. In real life, they turn guns on pedestrians. To silence the audience, they say, "Don't snitch." Snitching is not owned by the criminal. Cops have a code, "Don't snitch." If you tell on us, we might get you next. They create their own enemies. Perps on TV are always running between walls, busting out of doors, running right into the welcome arms of their friends, the cops, the caring cop. We watch because we love the chase and the drama. In real life, cops don't talk much. Maybe in their minds they are talking. In their minds, they're having conversations with their victims. But in the streets, they draw guns and repeat the same questions over and over. Have you been drinking? Ma'am, are you hurt? Where's your license? Why are you here? What are you doing? Where's your ID? Don't talk, don't move, don't make me do this to you. Don't show me your hands. Don't make this hard on me. Don't do anything stupid, don't run. Cops on TV have concerned eyebrows, low talking humor. Cops in real life beat their wives, their sons, party when they're off duty, sell drugs. Cops in real life don't need to get out of the car. They show up. I've never seen a cop run. Not really, not in real life. In real life, cops are not like real people. You don't meet them at parties or at a cafe or in a grocery line. You might see them online or on Match.com. Cops on TV take dramatic stands, resign when they see injustice, confront each other on their misdeeds, acknowledge racism. Cops on TV, Ice-T, LL Cool J, representing hip hop, talk and laugh with their white, Asian, Latino brothers and sisters. Cops on TV fall in love in the workplace, have affairs, but in real life you don't encounter them off duty, unless they are your neighbor and you hear their wives calling for the cops late at night, glass shattering in the moonlight, sunglasses covering up their evidence. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. I feel like it's important having this space as we go breathe and find community in different ways. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate that poem. Next up to the mic, I would like to invite William Madden. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Last week I did one on the coronavirus, and that was a little fun, more of a funner piece. But this week I wrote this one for my wife, and so I just want to do something that kind of it's a romantic touch to it. So this is just called Harmony. And that's pretty much what it is. So you don't need to say or do anything to make me feel more loved by you. You're this perfect ballad. The sound of your voice puts music in my soul. I'm incredibly grateful that I came into cadence with you, because you make me daydream about ways I can make you happy. Like when the alto saxophone puts a soft tone in my mind, your music reverberates with me when I'm alone. And even then I contemplate how soon I'll be able to hold your hand, hold you in my arms, hold you like a melody with an infinite duet. I'm on this metatextual path across notes that give me hope. My whole life was a pause, strumming the strings of a concerto. And now your beauty is singing to me as if your song in life is that climatic chord that makes me distance the dissonance. Your song is definitive, and I value your dreams. Beautifully orchestrated, and that resonates with me. Because the sound of your voice and any tone brings me peace. You're the piano, gracefully playing every key. When I'm with you, the world doesn't make a sound, and you're my symphony. Your intelligence, your humor, your support, your humanity. It's a lovely song in my life, and it centers me. It's like a muted trumpet. I need time to appreciate the passion behind it. I realize what an incredible lady you are. When we're apart, every moment of my day is paused because you enter my mind, and I just wish I could hold your hand and talk to you, sing a duet with you. I offer you everything I have, because whatever I own doesn't mean anything to me unless I can share it with you. I'd share every love ballad, slow dance with you to music in our room, in a ballroom, under the stars. There's no way to explain how much I've been humbled by you, but all I can do is show that I love you, and I'll be there for you because you put harmony in my heart. Thank you. Oh, it's my daughter. She made a cameo. Okay. Sit down.
Thank you both. So next up on the mic, we have Mixpate Stroman II. Welcome back.
Oh, okay. Thank you for having me. I'm sorry, I was muted. Appreciate it to be back. Oh, that was a beautiful poem, Will. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. This poem is about my beautiful little baby who keeps moving all about. This is my life. It's called Cuddling with Kimmy. Cuddling with Kimmy. The thoughts flow many. My heart beats full of life and lost in the moments. Her cuteness and calm and blazed upon it. Soft, serene, this caramel-complected little queen. She's a foreshadow of the future. Portraits of the past and all things in between. I watch in wonderment as she sleeps, those pretty little cheeks. Cradled in my arms, nose nestled upon my chest. The feeling of her precious baby breath as she rests is a memory that will always stay with me. As time unfurls, Kimmy, you will always be my precious little baby girl. And that was just something short I wanted to do this time around. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for sharing. That was lovely. Good to see both of you.
Thank you.
So next up, I'd like to invite Sam Brookins. Welcome, friend.
Thank you so much for sharing that. They're both great. So this piece is in response to an article I read in The Atlantic a couple weeks ago called The Black Plague, which is talking about how Black people and communities of color are most vulnerable to COVID-19, and just why, just like a lot of the systemic issues that have led that to be the case. And sort of just reflecting on where we are right now as a country and as a people. What did they do during the Black Plague? I ask. My friend answers. Drink, pray, die. 1. I am 24 years old and already so acquainted with death. When my brother turned 22, we didn't celebrate. He took a swig from a fifth of whiskey and said, if I make it to 25, we'll turn up thin. That if burrowed itself in my chest, and I have been carrying it with me ever since. 2. When my grandmother tells me she is tired, what I hear is I am ready. I do not blame her. Existence is exhausting, especially in this skin, and the world is cruel. When I tell my mother about anger, about the hopelessness that threatens to swallow me whole, she pats my hand, tells me she remembers that fire, but that things do not improve, then offers me a platitude about God's grace in the evil of men. 3. I am so tired of seeing my people buried before we're even allowed to live. Replaceable and then essential, immune and then most vulnerable. And didn't we know this all along? Don't we laugh because we feel the reaper's noose at our necks even now? Don't we know that our laughter is proportional to the strength in our limbs and the breath in our lungs? Don't niggers laugh loud and run fast? Don't they always catch us anyway? Thank you.
Thank you, Kim, for sharing that piece. It's always lovely hearing your work. Next up to the mic, I'd like to invite T. Watts. Thank you for joining us.
Trying to find that unmute button. How's everyone? All the poets that have gone thus far are great. I've had to change my plans because I thought I had 4 minutes and I was gonna close with a piece that runs about 4 minutes. It's a children's story called The African Birthday Horse, with illustrations by my main brethren, Alan Laird, who's coming up in a couple of minutes. We've been on the planet together since the 5th grade. But since that's a 4-minute piece, I'm just gonna read this poem that was published in Black Creation magazine decades ago when I was a member of the group, the Nairobi Poets. And the name of the poem is 4F. I appeared strung out, as I am, but more so. Even the brothers there for pre-induction physicals regarded me warily. Walking around in yellow silk, juju walking stick in hand, shouting, I am the cosmic sun. Fuck with me and the cosmic father will banish you forever from the kingdom of heaven. It did the trick. 2 army shrinks tried to jam me up the wall, but my stick made them ugly when I shook it in their bewildered faces. They dismissed me then, writing permanently disqualified across my medical report. I walked out into the rain, laughing triumphant tears. They apparently realized I dismissed them a long time ago. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. All right, next up we have, let's see. Oh, well, it's so perfect. Alan is the next person up on the mic.
Yay.
Can you hear me okay? Did I mute it? Is the mute off?
Yeah, you're good.
You can hear me?
Yeah, we
I
can
can
hear you.
hear you.
I was listening to my own self and I said, I sound okay. Okay. All right. Well, hey, it's so good to be with you. The material is so wonderful just to hear the expressions. And I'm just going to read a little segment of a book I've been writing upon for about, it's not 8 years almost. And a lot of research. But I'm just going to read a little section of this young guy. It's a song of a young man into manhood. And he's come up from Georgia right now to stay with his aunt in Chicago. And it's in the 1920s, around 1932 in Chicago. And he's gotten in with the fast life and things like that. And he actually saved a gangster's life and he got invited to the big party, a birthday party. And I'm gonna read a portion of this one. Bigums, his other guy, both of them dance on the street with the bottle caps and things, but now they've gotten kind of professional. So they got invited to the party. And I'm gonna take us into the party just for a moment here. Mr. Ted's reflection upon the mirrored dance floor as he made his way over to the bandstand to chat with Mr. Calloway. Both of them nodding in agreement as they briefly exchanged words, walking back over where Biggums and I stood pensively waiting for instructions. Mr. Ted gave us a high sign to change into our new tap shoes so we could begin our rehearsal. I felt a supple caress of fine leather on my feet as I tied my new tap shoes on and fastened it with a bow tie knot. Biggums and I strode up onto the hardwood dance floor, our heel to toe, tap melodically clicking to the center stage, while Mr. Calloway stood in readiness in his uplifted baton. This is Cab Calloway, and he's playing his famous song, Happy Feet. With the fourth and final downbeat of 4 from Cab Calloway hip baton, the music started and we simultaneously joined in with a clicking step of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Swinging our synchronized bodies in tandem began signature theme song routine of our street side steppers on 47th and South Park in Chicago. Except this time it was so very different. Instead of dancing to the blue and gold label of a banner recording company played on a portable Victrola, we're dancing to the echoing immense live sounds of Cab Calloway and his orchestra. We concluded our last rehearsed step with our Great Northern Railroad choo-choo step, Biggums and I emulating a locomotive chugging down the tracks, our arms and feet synchronized like rotating pistons. Upon the end of our dance routine, we were bestowed with the gift of an applause from Mr. Ted, Sarge, and Cab Calloway and his orchestra, and Bruno, who stood in the rear of the room. And I'll leave us all with that, but it's just a segment, and I wanted a chance just to read a little piece of that. And I'll keep working at it. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. That was lovely hearing that piece. Excited for more in the future. So our next reader up on the mic is Christopher Sims. Welcome back as well.
Thank you. Peace. Appreciate it, Sister Nia and Dee Dee. Always amidst esteemed writers, readers in this particular venue, and it's always a pleasure to be amongst my people. Share my spoken word. This piece is definitely in the vein, and thinking about the Black Lives Matter movement, and all the names that we have to keep mourning in all our business. I wrote a piece maybe even 30 minutes before I hopped on here this evening, but this piece is definitely one of which that I've been sharing as I've been a part of the movement and for justice. I'm going to shout out my main man Roberto Martinez for this t-shirt. We need powerful, empowering poetry that promotes positivity, poetry that encourages people to progress, poetry that gives birth to revolution. We need poetry that puts on black dashikis, black pants, and black boots. Poetry that rises to run through oppressor to oppose rendering racism or sexism. We need poetry that challenges the boys in blue. Poetry that kicks butt. We sit back and say, hey, get on poetry. Poetry that gives birth to revolution. Black folk need poetry that gains with the grime in the ghetto. Poetry that gathers gutless men, racist women, and guiltless children to guide us back to greatness. Poetry that disintegrates crack and evaporates alcohol so we don't continue to fall into destruction. Poetry that gives birth to revolution. This world needs poetry that puts an end to poverty, to starvation, to homelessness, to AIDS, to cancer, to dehumanization, to mass incarceration, to gentrification, to prison privatization, to policing children in our systems of education, to unjust detention, to criminalization of those seeking immigration, to death during migration, to the horrible border situation. Poetry that gives birth to revolution. And that's that piece. Thank y'all for y'all time.
Thank you, Christopher, for sharing. That was great. All right, next up we have Brett Benson. Welcome to the mic.
Thanks for having me. Okay, 2 haikus to start. Vote by mail. Military votes by mail from far away now. Why not here at home? Second one, science. I fly in airplanes, but global warming is fake. I read that online. And then I'm a high school teacher, and like thousands of students across the country, a lot of my seniors are really having a hard time right now just with all this going on. So I wrote my advisory. It's a group of 25 kids that I basically am really close to. I wrote them a couple of poems over a week or two into COVID-19. This one's called Garden of Thoughts. That I would give freedom to the mind to think, some might applaud while others deem it a mistake. Yet if I choose to become a statue and not blink, I should miss all the wonder for which my spirit requires intake. For thought and emotion shared a mysterious link. I saw this truth when the mind was at rest. Thereafter, may the cosmos float my being and not allow me to sink, and I shall promise to do my absolute very best. For when my mind was sound, all else which existed near, far, or around would not keep me down and bound, as serenity within was easy enough to be found. I committed every essence of my being to the act of eternal seeing, where the winds in the trees, a spring crisp, rebirthed breeze, showed me the connection between all things, ocean waves, wind in pine branches, or bird song as they eloquently sing. So cultivate a will made of oak within, and we shall this time see it through to the end. If by chance you forget these deep truths inside, your friends you must seek in which to confide. Our strength comes from one universal shared garden and mind. Thus exist shall I in a cultivated garden of thoughts. I'll see you there when you are ready. If we reap what we sow, then it is inner peace I shall seek, and upon reflection, knowing I have done my best, having sought. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. All right, next up on the mic, we have Angelica Reciardo. Welcome to the mic.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. I have a couple poems. This one is called Ode to Immigrant Fathers. My dad waits in the parking lot when I am in grade school, so I don't have to walk a block home. He waits in the parking lot when I am on my first date at the movies with the first of boys who don't care. My dad waits in the parking lot when I am 16 at Victoria's Secret, buying my way into womanhood. He waits in the parking lot of Rutgers while I earn college credit to use at a school far away from him. My dad waits in the parking lot of a train station or airport to receive me from a city I'm contracted to. He waits to hear about a degree or job he doesn't understand. As long as you're happy and work hard, Anak. We wait in the rental car parking lot in SFO. He starts the ignition as I hold back homesick tears. He waits for me to finish crying about new beginnings, and I flip through the radio until we are both humming to the same song. And this one is called Sidewalk Living Room. The first day I saw you, your legs were crossed, all doorknob kneecaps and fan blade shins. You sat outside in the farthest chair of the cafe, trying to blend in with Monday morning. I could learn how to pack a life from you, cart filled with alleyway bounties, a broom, a rug, a tarp, crushed cans, and a Bible. You assign meaning to abandoned things. I've been misusing the word survive. I use it to describe a flight or a waiting room without ever knowing how to live with my own decay, never knowing how the slats of a bench feel over time. And this last one is a show for two. When it's barely time to misbehave in San Francisco, She knows it's a certain hour of sin for him in New York. He lands in her inbox after the liking and the watching. She knows to expect him because every Black widow knows what her web does. With each liquored correspondence, he requests to see more of her. He asks like he knows he'll receive, and she gives like it's her first night on stage. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Those were both beautiful.
Thanks.
So next up, we have Daniel Brady. Welcome to the mic.
There we go. Thank you so much. I appreciate being here. This is my first time. And I didn't ask, is there a theme that's particular tonight or no? Okay. All right. Some short ones, really short ones. Time. Time comes and goes almost unnoticed, unremarkable, except for the changes we seem to think come and go with it. What a strange concept, which is to say, untrue. So much so that we'd have to invent the concurrence for our own sakes, not to mention that of others. Magicians use this feat all the time, and we, the duped, ever and always find no end of satisfaction, fascination with what they have us see. The truth be damned. This is more political and has to do with, well, it comes from the situation in Syria, but it's the Middle East in general. Why are they killed? It's a simple question, really. And today, at this tiny moment, I direct it at the Saudi government. But as you'll soon surmise, there are others holding on to the short end of this poop stick. I asked the men there, why is it okay to kill their own mothers, sisters, daughters, or lovers for phoning, texting, driving, enjoying the sun on their faces, talking with a friend, for dreaming of a life made up of their preferences, their choice? What does having a sense of humor, laughing beautifully, or wanting the simple things in life, liberty and the pursuit of happiness, have to do with brutal assaults, murderous battery, rape, slavery, or the acid slap? What is it about family honor? Why, when we hear of their moaning, their mournful imprecations, do we not call their men out? How is it we recuse ourselves, do not ride to the rescue? Is it because of their hijab? Where are the white hats? Yes, all they want are very simple things: freedom of the mind, justice for the soul, and unlimited peace in their feeling, emotional hearts. When will we reach out our hands? When will we answer our own big heart's unending call for love? Inquiring minds want to know. In supplication, I proffer these considerations, these notes to everyone I know. And I want to post something here for everyone really quickly. Is that everything? Yeah. So I want to thank you for this opportunity, and I posted something in the, should be there. There it is. I'm looking for and finding virtual open mics like this one. And if anybody knows of them, send me an email. My email's there. I'm making a list. The link to the list is there. And I've read in London, Paris, and Berlin, and Ireland, all in the course of 5-6 days. So they're out there, as well as New York and the East Bay and stuff like that. So I just wanted to pass that word on and thank everybody here. And I appreciate the chance to speak and listen. More listening is necessary. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you for that list too. Someone was asking earlier about listings for readings in the Bay Area, so I'll pass that along to them.
Thank you so much.
All right, next up, I'm excited to introduce a dear friend and multi-talented artist, Andrew Wilson. Welcome up to the mic.
What's up, y'all? I'm doing this because Nia conned me into it. Usually I'm behind the stage, so thanks, Nia. And I had to pull this out of the archives. And hopefully it's 3 minutes. Who knows? To men who look like me, open letter from Caldrick King to Terrell Knight. Terrell, I know you don't know me, but I know how hard this secret life can be. How you throw your body to fire and brimstone to men who think your hunger is dangerous. How our lives connect is almost mythic. How many parallels between rapper and alpha can be drawn? I perpetuate stereotypes. You uplift communities, but we both despise the lust we try to hide behind our tough exteriors. Men like us have rules. Not in Cali, never at work, and nothing I can't walk away from, Terrell. I know how much you hate yourself. The spirit behind your eyes is vacant like mine have been for years. I know what it's like to have something to lose. I know how heavy silence is. I know how it feels to hold hands with demons, feel the fire of his grip burning my flesh alive, the hairs on the backs of our necks giving us standing ovations for the crimes we commit against ourselves in the confines of my four-walled prison. We have never been holy. We have learned to hold our lovers like barbed wire and bleed every time we connect like a blood oath. We take our lovers down into our closet spaces with us. Love is a word that has etched itself into my anger. Every time I am with a man, I bend, beat, and break his body into submission like a doll. I toss him to the side when I am done with him. This toughness is a heavy burden to carry. Terrell, there is something to be said for pride and how men like us push people away. Like laundry on lines on a forgotten city, we hang ourselves with nobody to set us free and fold our frayed edges. There was a man once who stole my heart the way our secret lives steal the light from our eyes, and I beat him. Because I had to make my anguish visible, I beat him like an animal. Like our ancestors were beaten on plantations, like the hoses turned loose on our kin in Birmingham, I beat him like my skeletons beat me. Like my father beat me, like the silence chokes me every day, I beat him. My body is ruined. Terrell, your body is ruined. We are ruined, our temple defiled and desecrated. We did this to ourselves. Brick by brick, we destroyed our holy places because someone long past told us that we were dirty. Juxtapositions fighting our flesh at every turn, dirty contradictions housed in this unholy skin, dirty, like the men Bayard took back to his bedchambers, dirty. Like the sun rays baked into this flesh, we are taught that we are abominations. I've spent many a night facing self in mirror like I know you have, trying to grapple with the siren, his icy cold stare chilling the marrow in my bones. Terrell, I know you have thought about suicide before, because the man in the mirror is a beast larger than life to tackle. I know about Freudian slips, how alcohol thins blood, and the lines between the languages we speak. I know how a razor to the wrist feels, the blade kissing each nerve ending in a crimson crescendo. I know how it feels to wake up again, thinking it's all over. I know how to wake up again, hoping the curtains would close. Terrell, I don't want this life for you. And I know how easy it can be trying to walk this tightrope without a net to catch you. You'll fall, like I did. And maybe the spirits of the universe will not be on your side. Maybe you'll take the easy way out and leave all those who care for you behind, even if you think there's only a handful. Maybe it won't take losing everything. Tariq, my father, best friend, sanity, to realize you aren't a curse. You are beautiful. Like the sun setting over the Pacific, like the first time I kissed Tariq, like anything anyone ever told you you weren't. You are a blessing. Your stillness is anointing. They wish they had your grace. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you. I really appreciate you coming and being in this space and reading and sharing all the different parts of your art with us. So next up, we have Tracy Bartlow. Welcome to the mic.
Thank you for having me. I am pulling up my poem. So this poem comes from an exhibition that I created called My Life in Nudes. And it is a collection of nude and erotic photographs, poems, and short stories. And also dance. This particular poem is something I wrote years ago, and it is describing my experience in being a stripper and working as a topless dancer in clubs in New York. This poem is called "The Spirit Moves Through Me, but It Is Not for Sale." I remember early mornings in that laundromat in Brooklyn. The machines humming quietly, pushing soft heat through their glass windows, and it was winter outside. I thought about where I was, what I was the other night, and I was numb to it all. Sitting slumped in a daze with baggy mismatched clothes on, my mind randomly replayed events from last week, last night, 3 nights ago, last month. My sweatpants are hella old and stretched out of shape, and weighing down my right pocket is a $50 bill folded in the middle of $51 bills. Just some spending money for the morning. Laundry, groceries, cough medicine, a new fit to dance in, maybe some shoes. I feel my money hanging low on the side of my leg, and still in the daze, I reach deep into my pocket and just hold it. I think about the hands that touch this money, giving it to me. Eyes just watching me, eyes only for me. That 50 was folded neatly between 2 fingers, neither demanding or eager to give it away. His palm was facing up, his elbow on the counter, and he just watched me until I walked over and took it. There ain't nothing in the world like doing 4 sets a night. 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 1 a.m., 3 a.m. I'm tired as hell and a little bit faded. And then the DJ throws on some funky ass music, the kind of music that gets your spirit high. It sounded like I Want You by Marvin Gaye, but mixed with Jingo from Santana. I had already stripped out of my dress, taken off the bikini top, and I was left in a G-string and sparkling stiletto pumps. And the music was moving through me. I didn't give a fuck about holding back, because if you dance too meaningful and free, you don't get tips. But I didn't give a fuck. I danced. I took off those pumps and I danced in my bare feet. The heat of the lights caressing my nakedness, I closed my eyes. I was no longer in a strip club in the Bronx. I was on an island with these beautiful sensuous waters spread before me. I was not degrading myself for instant cash. I was dancing so close to the rhythm and the drum that we were one. I was not hiding behind makeup and a long wig. I was free, connecting rhythmically to the universe. I felt the power to heal and to change. The song was ending and I opened my eyes, seeing those other eyes watching. And for a second, it felt my moment was robbed. I forgot what I was there for. So I stopped, walked over, took the money, and disappeared into the dressing room. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. I appreciate hearing that poem. That was lovely.
Thank you.
All right, so next up, I'm excited to invite another one of my favorite poets, Asha Sudra, welcome to the mic.
Peace, thank you. Words. So thank you to everybody that shared. I like being able to follow up with from that piece. So thank you, Tracy. Just to give you a little bit of background about my family and our story. We're originally from West India, but then British came up on us because we were low caste, low wage workers, and used us to build the East African Railroad throughout Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya. So that's where my family comes from until the Idi Amin exile in 1972. And my family moved to a refugee camp in England and then settled in East London. And then my mom came over here for an arranged marriage to California. Fortunately, dude was mad abusive, and she actually had the courage to get a divorce. But so fast forward to me and understanding my identity, it's always been a little bit difficult, a little tricky. And so navigating that is something that poetry has given me the ability to do. And so this is a little piece about that. After the first lick, someone once told me my pussy tasted like chai. I love your Indian side, they said. Exotic, ambiguous brown skin whispered microaggressions. My lips reminded them of jalebi sweetness. Lakshmi La kiss too intimidating for bland palates. This spice is not suited for the weak. Many in attempts to capture, like Indiana Jones into colonize, only to realize these eyes will turn you to stone. And amongst the sea of bones, genetically ligamented into the present, tendency to tear down any attachment to community comes down to a sense of absence. Muscle memoried into being forgotten. Thin glimpses of chance turn into walls built so thick, skin weaves get thick. Thin glimpses of chance turn into walls built so thick, skin knees get so weak and open to understand unwarranted advances as being seen. Recognized for once, despite scar tissue trauma, it was never the intention to hide. Self aimlessly wandering, wondering when I'll be found, mind spun around like Garba, still dizzy from questioning values some call tradition. This is not your Masi's generation. Expectations falling short, this unknown skin is more familiar with being other than being safe, with being comfortable, more comfortable, agitated, lost tongues translated into disappointment, disjointed strands of silk saris, unable to say sorry in Gujarati, so they think I'm just entitled. Dialed into attempts at recognition, denial seeks to find false pathways for admission, but it feels like it's never enough. Exotified to the point where genetics will forever be at question. Circling back to points too tight to swerve, lineage only drawn straight when I'm letting someone down or when someone's going down and I become the fantasy. This regression into ecstasy to be seen seems to stifle actuality, but shit, at least some part of me remembers. Other than the exile, the silencing, the servitude and subordination, at least some part of me remembers the ancestry, remembers rose water and mango trees, tribes of women with trajva head to toe, remembers masala ratios and saffron royalty. My pussy might taste like chai, but my chai doesn't taste like home. Nor are my rotis round enough to supplement the lack of comfort in a room full of marigolds. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, Asha. It's good to see you virtually too. It's been a while. All right, next up to the mic, I'd like to invite Zakia Kaperhart. Welcome back.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can I be heard?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, thank you. Thanks to everyone for the wonderful poetry. I'm enjoying it all immensely. So I would like to share a poem that I wrote for my maternal grandmother. And on this upcoming Mother's Day, I'd like to dedicate it to all mothers and grandmothers. My poem is entitled, I remember Grandma. Grandma, I always think of you when the train goes choo choo. Walking on the road that led to your house, there was a pasture where horses grazed on that day that I ran away. I was only a child, and Mother had fixed my hair in such pretty curls. All dressed up, I was Grandma's little girl. The horses began to gallop suddenly in their pasture. And from the swift movements of the stallion, I knew at any moment the mares would turn in my direction and I would learn the true meaning of Godspeed from the hoofs of horses in a stampede. I ran like the wind, Mother later explained, but straight to Grandma's arms was my only claim. She held me close, soothing me with hugs and kisses. Still, to this day, that moment I continue to revisit. When late at night, the train blows its whistle. I think of you, Grandma, and your house by the railroad tracks. And I remember that time way, way back when hugs and kisses were a matter of fact. At times now I try to return, but there's no going back, despite my yearn. So I keep you right here in my heart. Because Grandma, I always think of you when the train goes choo choo. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
All right. Next up, I would like to invite Marria Evbuoma. Are you here with us?
I am here, Marria Evbuoma. Sorry, I thought that started at 7. I was making dinner for my son. But glad that I'm here. I have 2 short poems. One written right before we went into shelter in place, and one that's been on my brain for a while. A matter that's been on my brain for a while. So this first one is Untitled. Again, I wrote it right before went to shelter in place. You who do not bring a voice to the harmony. You who would just rather sit, watch, maybe pay for the next experience. Or get a discount code at least. Or maybe you'd prefer to hear us in the background as you talk about them and like how many followers they have. You who then follow. You. Can you still sing? Do you remember your voice? But in the meantime, why don't you go away and practice? Now this next one is Future Pledge. It's for us. I'll be damned if we smash one system just to replace it with images of our own. We ain't looking that good. Repeat as often as necessary. God is not my father. God is not my mother. We are not divine. We are earthly, watery, windy, bloody, rotting, adding to the mess in the most respectful manner. And if I'm lucky, chance is truth. You can bless yourself here. My artifacts will not be junk or stolen museum curiosities, because I'm here now, making beats. I choose to leave vibrations, remnants of rhythm, for sparrows to sing to the wind and weeds to grow on. Thank you. Hope you enjoy the garden. Thanks.
We love the garden. Thank you so much for sharing. All right, so next up, I would like to invite Daz Grego Sykes. Welcome to the mic.
Hey everybody, I'm Dazier Grego Sykes. I'm going to be reading from a collection of poetry that was recently published by Nomadic Press titled Black Faggotry. And this poem is called Middle Passaged. Born of cotton wombs, softly whipped to coffin, nappy hair to prune, in hopes to stop the laughing. Blistered foot is doomed to walk another day. Uneducated tongue, careful what you say. Broke shoulders spend your life, hesitant but look, see not what holds today, but pray for what's been took. We connect to our ancestors through the dialect we speak. We protect our broken English, our so-called poor grammar, because more important than any language is the oral history we must keep. It is swimming between our tongues and the very roof of our mouths. It is an accent from Africa, United States, North or South. We are the children who have no written language. We hieroglyph pilgrims of the ocean. We voodoo prince, eyes weeping willows, green moss and forgotten days of mounting lions that still know our names. They pace behind bars, in zoos, not unlike too many young Black brothers. The crowd disturbs, and once we dreamed, we hear them under covers. Can't reach for the hand of God, but pass the hand of mothers. Hoard the love that's in your heart, then look for some from others. He thrashes his hips against his lover, refuses to turn over and become receptive, believes that death is born of absorbing his lover's own dying seed. Nothing grows, wearing skin like withered leaves. Press your ear to my chest. Hear the mischievous wind left seeping heart, keeping kisses left by breath that cannot be perceived. Do not forget the beloved can always leave. Water thrust bringing pirates with swords unsheathed. Froth on the shore, undrying saliva of African bones and names that will never be retrieved. I look to her, I call out cousin. I scream, uncle, ask, do you remember me? Was it the vessel? Was it the ocean? Or the pale skins that stole you from me? No tears travel from the green in my Atlantic. I am middle passaged, tenderly. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Next up to the mic, I would like to invite the wonderful Tureeda Mikell. Welcome, Tureeda.
Hi, thank you. Yes, just deciding here. So, reviewing a couple of pieces that should be inside 4.5 minutes. Did you say 4 minutes? Okay.
3 to 4.
Okay. And this is taken from Nene's Chronicles. What Nene's grandma had to say about Malcolm X questioning the love of enemies. Love my enemies. Give them core to my soul, my divinity, affinity, life light. Deny my intuition, inner guard, third eye. Love my enemies. Let them plug in with nihilistic den, suck away my intuitive defense, provide unconditional love, blind my heart, deafen my mind, love my enemies. denied birthright, future generations' insight, protecting me and mine. Support high blood pressure, cancer, heart disease, grant the American Medical Association pharmaceutical control of what's left of my sensibility. Love my enemies. Force enemy to love me. Play Jesus nailed to the cross despite loss of land, family, language, vision, knowing justice system jails 1 in 33, providing new plantations for Wall Street. Seriously, love my enemies. Open heart to deceit as we greet, turn the other cheek. Accept this dog pee marking me, and you know dog is his best friend, ain't that a bitch? Love my enemies. Body fights disease. Not into BS verse ambiguity. Will not love what tries to kill me. This is common biology. Mine got to carry antibodies because respect is key. Watch what you eat spiritually. Because honored ancestor, protector, poet, philosopher, Amiri B said, too much patience will make you a patient. It's said, our people have intuition, an unconscious ambition. The meaning of intuition is inner guard, but honey, times have changed and so have the guards. Many of our people are diseased, afflicted, and insane, and many will point the finger at who's to blame, but face it, we had to play another culture's game, and splicing mental, psychological genes has been the reign. I remember a quote from my biology book, and from it, this is what I took. These genetic factors, and there may not be so many in number, define our intellectual and conceptual limits. So I propose that through phylogenetic studies and studies of rare genetic human variants, we can learn much concerning basic cerebral components in preparation for the day when we wish to begin to move back their limits, back their limits, back our limits. We gather in universities with open minds. We seek to gain, not knowing in the learning that's given an unconscious pain by pushing back our limits. We've lost many fruits. We've lost many lives. Some say generations of our youth teaching us, don't use your first mind. Don't be a simpleton. Use your head. Analyze. Forget intuition. Forget who you are. Many of us bought it. No longer use first thought. Tuition for intuition. Their guard we bought. Now we're in a prison. Many of us are barred from an unconscious division within ourselves and who we are. They taught us English and Angleished in our minds, whipping our brains and kicking our behinds, telling us for the intelligence they see and how badly we needed to get their degree, knowing all they teach is not the truth because they lied, stole it, and twisted it after they got it from our ancestral roots. The Africans of Mali know of the star Sirius. The Egyptians are Africans who built the pyramids, mathematics, medicines they sought. In our culture, we knew things they did not, how to live with the earth, knowing seasons of the sun and respecting when planting and harvesting had to be done. But then I remember a quote from Muntu about an old Mwenge woman who could neither read nor write, but she could see through, she could see clear through. She looked at the white man and said, "You people are disarmingly naive." And he dared to reply, "Have you, like us, been able to create so many marvels that excel the imagination?" And she replied with a pitying smile, "Yes, my child, with all that, you understand nothing." Yes, we knew all about the center, the care of the earth and the sun being the center of this universe. Thousands of years ago, we knew many universal truths scientists today cannot refute, but they continue to speak, double thinking, hope in minds, and hope you won't see it to trip you up in their time, speaking from the throat, not from the head, hoping your eye is asleep and in their dream instead. You have to know this culture is very slow and naive, and all they say isn't so you can't believe it. Water polluted, toxic waste, ozone layer being destroyed, and waiting to watch the 12 o'clock news people and 6 o'clock news people and 7 o'clock news people talk about it as glamorous. Paranoids was all so vicious with no respect for right, no respect for life, no respect for life. All because of the changing of the guards, barring from our inner selves. Because the English grammar is a gram that is marred. It's a messed up measure of a guard. It's said, however, Our people have intuition, an unconscious ambition. Thank you.
Thank you, Tureeda. Powerful as always.
Yay! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Woo.
All right. I'm super excited that our feature has joined us. So I'm going to share a couple pieces and then introduce our feature. All right. So this first piece that I want to share is inspired by the living ancestors that I have, all of my mom and my aunts and my family. This is entitled Inheritance. When I say silver runs in the family, it's not that old money silver. We're talking thick braids, smooth locks, defiant curls, strands that fall like paper trails, wisps destined to defy gravity, edges slick like tide lines. Our wealth comes wrapped in silk scarves, protected nightly, fishtailed tightly, laid to rest upon satin sheets. We know that homegrown wealth best, that argon dipped, coconut oil coated, wash and go ready riches. Abundance never smelled so good. I count my strands carefully, lamenting the few who fall too early. But just wait until I wear my pearly halo proudly. Black at the root, silver is the crown. The women in my family only know how to age backwards. Our roots, once born black and proud, stay always black and proud. And I want one short piece in honor of Mother's Day and my mom being on this call as well. So, entitled, My Mother's Garden. Like morning, she rises, full of light, she rewrites the sunrise each day. Her name is the place between home and homebound. She is my favorite place. Smelling of sweet breezes, fresh earth, ink and spices, she is a glass deliciously full. Your favorite song with just the right rhythm. A new pair of dancing shoes with just enough room to grow into. She carries herself with a special kind of optimism, tending to her garden with the hope that each year new buds will come back, collecting seeds with the promise of new growth. We are of the same garden. She planted her roots in me, teaching me how to blossom. Gardens have seasons, yet she is always in full bloom. In a word, she is perennial, permanent, unceasing in her love. Dance, mama, like the flowers are singing for you.
Wow.
With that, I am now really excited to welcome our featured poet for this evening, Jess Care Moore. So Jess Care Moore is the founder and CEO of More Black Press, executive producer of Black Women Rock, and founder of the literacy-driven Jess Care Moore Foundation. An internationally renowned poet, playwright, performance artist, and producer. She's the 2019 and 2017 Night Arts Award winner, the 2016 Kresge Arts Fellow, NAACP Great Expectations Awardee, and Alain Locke Award recipient from the Detroit Institute of the Arts. Moore is the author of The Words Don't Fit in My Mouth, The Alphabet Verses the Ghetto, Sunlight Through Bullet Holes, and the critically acclaimed Techno Choreopoem, Salt City. Her work has been published in numerous literary collections, and she's performed on stages all over the world, including the Apollo Theatre, Carnegie Hall, Lincoln Center, and the London Institute for Contemporary Arts. Jessica lives and writes in a historic Detroit neighborhood with her son, King Thomas. So welcome, Jessica. I'm so happy to have you here.
Unmute myself. Hey family. Thank you, Nia.
Oh my God.
Such a beautiful poem. Hey, Tureeda. Hey, Bay Area. I love
Oh my
y'all.
gosh.
Live and direct from my dining room table. I'm a little tired, just so apologize if I sound tired. It's just because I am. I've been pretty nonstop, and really great news to hear that the two men were arrested. I saw that was noticeably in the chat. So, you know, good energy put towards that, and hopefully something right will happen, and that mama and that family will have some justice for their son's murder in the middle of the day, right? So I'm in Detroit. I'm in the belly of the beast in many ways. So my tour was canceled. We Want Our Bodies Back, my fifth book, is what I'm going to be reading from. Was published by HarperCollins Amistad. And so instead of, I felt sorry for myself for a little while, and then I decided to find a way to support independent booksellers. And so I've been doing Black-owned, independent, woman-owned, revolutionary bookstores virtually across the country so that we can keep bookstores open in lovely gift shops like the one at Moat. I love the space and love the Bay Area. Just did a reading with my brother Tango, Ison Martin last night, which was really awesome to support Semicolon Bookstore in Chicago. So happy to be here with y'all and with fellow poets. I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read until you tell me I'm supposed to stop. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna open with this piece. It's called "Where Are the People?" And you know, if y'all are San Francisco people or Oakland people, then you know the things that we're going through here in Detroit with gentrification and colonization are very similar. But we're a very Black place. You know, we're more Oakland than we are San Francisco right now, and it's ever changing. So this is called "Where Are the People?" And I wrote it when me and my son had gotten a pizza from a new spot in what they call Midtown, and which is like downtown Detroit kind of. And pepperoni was on the pizza, and we don't eat pepperoni. So we literally drove up and down Cass Corridor, which is the real name of the neighborhood, trying to find someone to give a pizza to. And like back in the day, like Cass Corridor was like cool people, like they were like people on heroin, people who were maybe mentally ill, or Vietnam vets, the veterans hospitals down there. So it's just like some interesting folks, you know, it wasn't like San Francisco. It's like there's personalities everywhere. And so it gave color and character. And it was there, Wayne State students were there mixed in with elderly folks. And so those folks have just been kind of pushed out of their space, right? And so this is for the bodies we can no longer locate. Where are the one-way tickets? Who signed the death certificates? Where are the magicians, the madmen, the toothless, the smoothless, the poets, the corner store prophets, the bus stop historians, the traffic stoppers? Where are the people? Where are the blues? Under which pile of gravel? Where are they buried? Hurricane Cast Corridor, Hurricane Cast Corridor. Where is the soil, the socks, the soles, the shoes? The soil, the socks, the soles, the shoes. Where is the heroin? Where are the pills? Where are the women? Where are the thrills? Where is Cast Corridor? My student asked. Is it a building? Is it this way? Is it that way? Your school is sitting in it. Is it? I answer. The dogs are walking the people. The dogs are walking the people. The dogs have parks. The parks don't have children. Where are the people? The stepped over, the forgotten Holocaust, the fragile, the beautiful, the fast talkers, the backward walkers, the 3 a.m. stalkers. Where did they take them? When will they return? Where is the balance? Where is the money? Where are the schools? Where are the people? We all got Wi-Fi. Nobody getting high outside. Where are they beds? Where are the beds? Where is they heads? Where are the recognizable street signs? Where is Joe Louis? Where are the Black people? My white neighbor asked me, Jessica, where are the Black people? Where are the chosen people? Where are our hearts, our guitars, our bass players? Where are the anointed, the children of God? Where is the sage, the holy water? Where is the Black imagination located? How much is the cost per square foot to rent there? Is there a rent to own your own Black imagination option? Where are the couples fighting in the alleys? Where are the purple flavor Mad Dog 2020 labels? Where are the needles? Where is the good time? Where did all these goddamn bike lanes come from? Where is the line to simply exist? Where is the painted line to live, to breathe? Where are the parks with swings? Where are the children supposed to live? Where are the children supposed to run? Where are the twilight teasers, the moonlight mythology makers? Where are our military vets, our mentally ill? Where are the people? Where are the people? Where are the people? San Francisco, Oakland, Harlem, Detroit, Chicago. Do you know? Do you know, huh? Have you seen them? Do they all die so New Detroit could live? Do they all die so New San Francisco could live. Where is your conscience? Where is this nonsense coming from? Where is humanity? Where are the people? The one-way tickets? The message is still in the bottle. The message is still in the bottle. Where are the indigenous? Where are the salt mines? Where are the people? Where are the people? Where are the people? When you find them, please tell them I have an overpriced gentrified cheese and pork pizza with their names on it. Tell them I'm writing for them so they won't disappear without a fight. So that's called We Are the People. It's so weird reading to quiet, muted screens. Oh my God, it's my life. Okay, but I can thank you, Laura. Thank you, Tracy. Okay, all right. It's hard finding. Oh, I think my stepdaughter is here somewhere. Here you at, Kelsey? Oh, Tango's here too. Hi, Tango. Okay. Oh, it's a lot of people here. This is gangster. Yes. Go, Nia. Go. Hey. Y'all ordered this book from they got it at the gift shop, right? Order the book, support the bookstore, support the gift shop, support Black books, you know. Shout out to Kelsey. I think she's here. It's nice your mom is here, Nia. My mom was trying to get on with me and Tango yesterday, but I swear it was just to see Tango because she don't care about reading. She didn't heard me read poems so much. I'm gonna read this for my stepdaughter, Kelsey, who says she's on. So I'm gonna read this for her. And it's called I Used to Be a Roller Coaster Girl. I actually wrote it originally for Ntozake Shange. Before Ntozake died, I had, and Tango was there as well. We had a really beautiful opportunity to spend some time with Ntozake in Florida at the Maroon Festival. But I stayed in the hotel where Ntozake, Sonia Sanchez, and Last Poets were staying on purpose, just so I could have breakfast with them in the morning. And I'm so grateful for that time I had with them, because I would talk to her after that, but not see her. But we were laughing about roller coasters. And so I told her I used to be a roller coaster girl. I used to be a roller coaster girl, 7 times in a row, no vertical in these skinny legs, my lipstick bubblegum pink as my Panther 10 speed, never kiss, nappy pigtails, no brand gym shoes, white line, yellow short shorts, scratched up legs, pedaling past borders of hummus and baba ganoush, mosh chairs and liquor stores, city chicken, pepperoni bread, and Superman ice cream cones. Yellow black blending with bits of Arabic, Islam, and Catholicism. My daddy was Jesus. My mother was quiet. Jane Kennedy was worshipped by my brother Mark. I don't remember having my own bed before 12. Me and my sister Lisa shared. Sometimes all 3 more girls slept in that queen. You grow up so close, never close enough. I used to be a roller coaster girl, wild child full of flowers and ideas, useless crushes on Polish boys in a school full of white girls, future Black Swan singing Zeppelin, U2, and Rick Springfield, hoping to be Jesse's girl. I could outrun my brothers and everybody to that recurring line. I used to be a roller coaster girl till you told me I was moving too fast. Said my rush made your head spin, my laughter hurt your ears, a scream of happiness, a scream of freedom, pouring out my armpits, sweating up my neck. You were always the scared one. I kept my eyes open for the entire trip. Right before the drop, I would brace myself and let that force push my head back into that hard iron seat. My arms nearly fell off a few times, so I kept running back to that line when I was done, same way I kept running back to you. I used to be a roller coaster girl. I wasn't scared of mountains or falling. Hell, I look forward to flying and dropping off this earth and coming back to life every once in a while. I found some peace in being out of control, allowing my blood to race through my veins for 180 seconds. I earned my sometimes nicotine pull. I buy my own damn drinks, and the ocean still calls my name when it feels my toes near its shores. I still love roller coasters, and you grew up to be afraid of all girls who could ride fearlessly like me. So there's that. Saw me growing up. Well, I grew up in a time where we didn't have, like, you know, bike lanes and shit. That's we just rode our bike in the street and didn't get killed, and we didn't wear helmets. Right. We survived. Listen, y'all, this is so good. I'm exhausted. You know, I'm taking a break in June. I moved around some gigs because this is beautiful and exhausting. Like, I've been online, like, literally, I had like 4 Zooms yesterday, maybe 5. So I'm trying to learn how to say no for self-care, to take care of myself. And also because I want to write. I'm sharing a lot, but I want to write some new poems. So I have written one called, Ramadan 20 versus COVID-19. And I wrote it on the first day of Ramadan. It's like I'm really proud of the poem. It was published in the Metro Times in Detroit. So you can like Google. The Metro Times is kind of like whatever your entertainment weekly thing is. But they don't have any money now either. So all the writers donated literature, poetry, nonfiction, fiction, to keep the paper going until they can find money. So shout out to my self-employed artists, people who are, ooh, they actually consider us people with jobs now, you know? So ain't that something? I mean, because I think that like when this all goes away, when like full-time artists don't have money, that we should be able to file for unemployment all the time. So if we have a slow 3 months, which people do, it's called November, December, January, then we should be able to apply for unemployment until we get back on our feet. And so why people don't understand that way, it makes no sense that we've never been able to apply for unemployment until now. So, you know, things like this happen so that we can see the voids, right? So I'm gonna read this called I Can't Breathe. And I wrote it for Eric Garner and Mike Brown. It's I wrote it after I came back from spending time just protesting and being among people in Ferguson. And I organized with Talib Kweli and Boots Riley from The Coup and Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine. We're doing a series of concerts and fundraisers when Ferguson just kind of exploded with rebellion, as it should, against a very violent police force. When I was there, I had been in so many, when you've been doing this work as artists and activists, you go to so many protests and you know, you do, I've been doing that since Malice Green in Detroit when I was maybe 17 years old when the police killed him. And so that work has been work I've been doing forever. But I had never felt like I was gonna die really in a protest or on the streets organizing peacefully until I went to Ferguson. And this is when I was like, I saw these, you know, these little millennials, some of them with guns, these huge guns that they could bear. Sometimes the guns look bigger than their whole body, very trigger happy and ready to shoot. And so this is the story of me in Ferguson. It's me coming home. I'm in Detroit and I can't breathe. The air is being sucked out of my city. The poor don't have water and everything new means no niggas. I can't breathe. There is a smoking gun down my throat with promises of a post-racial America. I can't swallow the chamber. It is stuck in 1967 and it keeps reloading after it pierces the bodies of our unarmed babies. I can't breathe because I'm being rushed on a sidewalk in the middle of a peaceful protest by a militarized police force in Missouri. They are yelling, I got one, I got one. I'm half running, distraught, searching for Talib's hand. Rosa is a few steps ahead. The air is thick and ugly and dense and I can't breathe. I'm being forced to lie face down on the cement in Ferguson with an AR-15 pointed at my back. A long brown teenage boy is shaking in Rosa's lap. A young thick girl stands up anyway. I pull her back down and ask her to please wait. In Atlanta, a beautiful young activist tells me she is arrested at 6 p.m. and is driven around by officers till 2 a.m. before finally being booked with no explanation. We know who you are, they say, hoping to replace her breath with fear. And now she doesn't know how to tell her story of being kidnapped. She can't breathe. Who can push out fresh air in this country anymore? The rich, the corporation? We should all be choking to death from Fox News, processed foods, and white supremacy. My 19-year-old calls me after hearing I'm in Ferguson to ask me to please go home. And he hasn't lived with me in years, so I'm trying to figure out the geographic location of this place, home, the place we should feel the safest. And I'm wondering where all this rage has been, because when you acknowledge race, you're called the racist. Mississippi, goddamn, Missouri feel hot as you. On Canfield, this young man smiles his gold at me, beautiful and bright and bravado. You from Detroit? You a poet? I saw you on the news. This is the place where Mike Brown's blood turned to roses, the stem legs of our boys, long and racing, always swimming toward the sun, easily tripped up, life interrupted. The ones who don't love you are armed. As much as we claim this is our land, the world minority is running our country, our sweat, our women, our mothers. We birthed this nation, built it on free labor and death with no reparations in sight. I need more insight on what this has to do with genocide, everything. We out here without choice, many of us fatherless, some of us warm-blooded, West African, Dakota, Cree, Cherokee. We are a place with no place. We are natives, beautiful somewhere people, news flagpoles and crosses, and so many more little girls, plus those 4 we will never forget. We are Moors, portrayed as whores, criminals. We the children of royalty. We red clay goddesses. We down south forests. We the rings, we the trees of rings of stories. I can't breathe. I'm home from a terrifying place. And Octavia Butler, past, future, past life scars, resurface. I can't breathe. My son is 4 years from 12, and the park is his planet where he plays freely. And he knows the seed leads to flowers if you plant it. He loves Bob Marley, Faith Ringgold, and Frida Kahlo. Walks with his head up and doesn't follow. Recites Baraka, sings the blues. He thinks wearing a belt is cool. He is simply a black boy with an imagination built on nations of poems and a mom that says, don't fuck with me. Cable is a winter luxury, so we don't get our information from the idiot box. I've already had to teach my son how to act when we're pulled over by the cops. He's seen them waving like my poems. He's seen them black and flirting, asked to call me on the phone. He's seen them white in Dearborn Heights, accusing me of running a light I did not run. Mommy, but the policeman is lying. Yeah, that's the reality too, son. When I can't breathe, I cry in a parking lot, dropping you off at hockey camp, praying the white coaches and white kids won't try to suck the beauty out of your lungs. Pray you black ice skate fast past the chokeholds, the dangerous walks from the store to buy candy. I can't breathe, so I rush to get you from school daily. A collective mother's intuition always feels death moving around this winter in America clock. In these spaces where the air is thin, humanity is forgotten, and ancestral spirit is blowing hard, and fear has pushed you into a place you don't recognize. A forced language is pushed into your mouth, whipped across your back, along the Ivory Coast, on a ship called Jesus, in the Congo, through the door, no return, in the Alabama cotton field, in Chicago, in Cleveland, in Staten Island. When you look the world in its face, after attempts to hijack your spirit, take your breath loosely. For a Lucy, I will inhale God, I will inhale God, and blow the last wind into your body, or exhale be the Holy Ghost for this land. I can't breathe, 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 I can't breathe. Thank you. All right. Let me drink water. Thank you, fantastic person who found the article, Elizabeth. Thank you for finding it. It's a beautiful article. Lots of great writers in that one from Detroit that you'll get introduced to. Should I do another one?
Yeah, do one or two more.
Okay, sweet. So I'm gonna do something that's less, it's easier for me to read. In my book, I have a lot of homages to people. You don't even know, I didn't realize it until after I kind of gave it a good read. And so there's poems for my mama, my teacher, Sonia Sanchez, who's 85 and doing well in Philadelphia. And I wrote it for her 80th birthday. There's poems for Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee. I call the names of, there's poems for Aretha Franklin, Gwendolyn Brooks. So this is Ozzie and Ruby because, you know, I be needing love to center me. And Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee, Ozzie Davis, I got to read with once at the Abyssinian Church in Harlem. We were reading slave narratives, and I was sitting next to him, terrified like a 12-year-old. And he nudged me in my arm because I had to go on right before him, which was ridiculous. And I went on, I sat back down, and he nudged me and said, "You've done good," and just changed my whole life at that very moment. And Ruby Dee, I got to read with a lot. Really, she was like an amazing person. And so I wrote this. So they've always just been like what love looked like for me. I wrote this, the Sonia Sanchez birthday party, 80th birthday, was in Brooklyn. And the next day was Ruby Dee's funeral. And I wasn't up for the funeral. So I wrote this. Dear Ozzie, dear Ruby, do you still put roses in her hair? Do you still draw the clouds and fluff them for her head? Is the sun still sleepy in his eyes? Is heaven a place along his chest? Are you resting in a timeless embrace? Do you still make her laugh? Does it still matter? Do you still hold her hands, diamonds, hidden inside palms from fingers? Is eternity inside his kiss? Do you tie his tie, adjust his chapeau? Do you dance in the morning? Do Amiri and Maya and Jane and Gil and Sekou visit to drink grapes and share stories? Dear Ozzie, dear Ruby, some of us dare to be the exception, dare to be conductors of Black love. Do you still love to love? Do you still love to be still while the world travels at full speed? How glorious to watch our attempts to become the Black doves you became. Do you still fly south for the winter, pick pecans and eat round sweet cherries on a long wooden porch? Dear Ozzie, thank you for your kind words in Harlem when I nervously shared that Abyssinian church stage with you. Dear Ruby, Thank you for your fearlessness and hard laugh. In the lobby of the Schomburg, I slapped Denzel Washington in American Gangster. It wasn't in the script, you told me. I can hear your beautiful stutter, planned pauses land gracefully on your tongue, ego woman. The morning of your funeral, I spent the evening celebrating our sister Sonia Sanchez's 80th birthday. I watched her and Baba Haki get in a car headed to Harlem. I was in so much pain from losing Amiri. I wasn't ready to bury another legend. Forgive me, dear Ruby. We know we are possible. We know we can be gazelles on a planet surrounded by wolves. Is his voice the sound of water? Is her smile the perfect moonlight? Do you still remember when it was a dream? Do you still love to get on your toes, to reach his nose, kiss his neck? Is she still your Juliet in a Spike Lee joint? Is he still the mayor, mother, sister? Dear Ozzy, dear Ruby, thank you for loving us. Thank you for loving each other. We marvel in your reflection. Thank you for your life work, for your voices and bodies as gifts. Now that you are true stars, do you know you were our greatest wish? So that's for Ozzy and Ruby. And I guess I'll end, even though it is not the easiest poem to read for me at this moment. I'm gonna end it with "We Want Our Bodies Back," which poem was, the poem has so many meanings, but I wrote it for Sandra Bland. And the book itself, the title poem is dedicated to her. So, if Black women could be cut down, removed gently from American terrorism, who would break our fall? Which direction would we travel to feel safe? Wild is the wind. If we could turn in this skin, these sharpened bones, this brain full of power and history, who would we resemble? Invisible doesn't come in Black. How many nervous breakdowns? How many funeral black dresses? How many fibroids? How many nooses? How many of our bodies must be raped, cut into pieces, burned inside garbage bags, buried? How many of us blossom a beautiful tree of life and pray their pride isn't cut down the middle, reduced to trunks? Or a close friend doesn't die climbing their limbs, attempting to simply grow outside the gritty soil they were planted? I put a spell on you. Holly hobby ovens, Girl Scout cookies, and Barbie dolls. Don't prepare our revolutionary daughters born with capes and wings to have a pig's knee pushed into their backs. Girls raised by wolves, taught to disappear, to be quiet, to not talk about it. How much Black breath is allowed space in the state of Texas? A place that has sucked the life out of countless, miscounted, uncounted brown, poor women die here. I got life. Sandra Bland got the death penalty for a traffic stop. Her body was 28 years young. How to make sense of our bodies. Bodies burnt by cigarettes. Bodies smoked out their own neighborhoods. Bodies with abandoned lungs and hearts. Bodies mistaken for women when they are still girls. How do we construct a survival guide, a poem for our daughters' bodies without throwing up our breakfast? How do our mothers' bodies not implode after telling our sons to comply, to not speak, to keep their heads down, to allow their bodies to be dragged by racist police? Jim Crow ain't never flown with this much wingspan. Eagles running for safety now, for the reach is deep and southern and Midwest, shadows the east, lands in the west. Texas, you will always be Mexico in denial. Poet Ron Allen asked for his body back in 1996, and we are still waiting. We want our bodies back. We want our bodies back. We want our bodies back. We want them returned to mothers without blood, without brains exposed, without humiliation, without bruises, without glass, without fire. We want our bodies back. We want our cities back. We want our culture back, our land back, our street backs, our freedom, our justice. We want our bodies back. We want our bodies back. We want them wrapped in white silk. We want them paraded around the White House. We want these flags you stand up for at baseball games at half-mast. We want national holidays to honor our bodies, our knees, our prayers, our ears, our genitals, our eyes, our fingers, our feet. We want 21 gun salutes when we enter a damn room. We want our bodies back. We want them anointed in oils. We want them worn around your neck. We want them remembered. We want them worshiped on Sunday. We want your magic. We want our magic you try to bottle. We want our essence you attempt to steal. We want our elegance, our sex, our walk, our cool, our recipes, our survival, our survivals, our recipe, our intelligence, our science, our stars, our history. I want my Moroccan nose. I want my holy water breasts. I want my Maasai legs. I want my alien arms. I want my Ivory Coast mouth. I want our breath back. I want our time back. I want your foot off our girls' backs. I want all your badges back. I want you to evaporate into dust like swatted moths. Don't cut me down from the noose. Let my legs dangle for the devil. What a spectacular magic show. Why you turn the cameras off? Why you turn the cameras off? This is a simple ballet. You got front row. This is your venue. This soul, this cell, this hole is no one's home. It's no place for a woman to die. You probably never heard of Judith Jameson, Catherine Dunham. Oh, we know how to get our legs in the air. We know how to elevate, use our bodies to tell a story of middle passage, of survivals, of lynchings. You have always left our bodies under your control. Don't you touch me. Don't you take me down. Don't touch my body. Don't touch my music. Don't touch my patience. Don't touch my car door. Don't come near my window. Don't talk to me in that tone. This body of work got work to do. I'm resurrecting my body in new forms daily. Watch for me in your deepest sleep. Black is the color of my true love's hair. Listen for my songs. Watch for my walk. Listen for my voice, my black girl attitude. Watch my body resist your death traps. Watch me rise. Watch my rebirth. Watch us rise up from this new Jim Crow, from these new unspoken apartheid laws. We want our bodies back. We want our bodies back. We will take them, protect them, remember them, remind you, remember you, Sandra Bland. We will never forget your brown body, your mind, your pride, your spirit, your love, your vow to do God's work. We want your drive from Illinois to Waller County back. We want all our daughters back, and we want them back now. Thank you. Shout out. I love you, San Francisco. I love you, Oakland, Bay Area. If that's who, you know, I know everybody not from the Bay that's on here, but, you know, shout out to the Bay. Yo, it's almost 11 for me, y'all. So I'm, you know, I'm tired. I am zoomed out.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nia. I appreciate you. Thank y'all for having me. I'm gonna stay on as long as I can, but my child has not had dinner. So if I'm off, it's just because I'm listening, but I gotta go to the kitchen to cook.
Thank you so much for all of your pieces and just being in this space with us. I appreciate what you said about
thank you.
For all of us, that's so important, finding that balance of being like creating these virtual spaces, but also needing that time for ourselves. So I appreciate you staying up late with us too.
It's all good.
Oh,
I'm about to cook. I ain't about to go to sleep. I'm about to be a mom. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna mute myself so I can listen to everybody else.
All right.
Love y'all. Take care. Stay in.
Thank you. All right. Well, to follow that up, I'm going to invite another favorite poet, Tongo Eisen Martin, up to the open mic.
I can't leave now. Come on, I gotta cook for King, Tongo.
I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna get this over with quick.
Okay, King, he'll be okay. He's had enough food for 13 years.
Right on. For 13. Here's a new poem called Knees Next to Their Wallets. Fast cash smuggled through my infant torso. I arrived smiling. Call check cashing spots, seal my eyes, hearing voices, but none of them sing to me. I'm lucky to be a metaphor for no one. Washing my face with the memory of water, my back to the edge of a chessboard. I'm settling into a petty arrest record with my face laid flat on an apartment kitchen table. Mississippi linoleum begins. Citizen Council, Rest Haven, government plans braiding together breathing tubes. A Greek philosopher takes the path of least resistance. The Bronze Corporation age dons. Coachable white nationalism in boardrooms. They ask if county line skin can be churned directly into cornflakes. A Senate special chain gang mines our neighborhood for evidence of continent unity. Makes a mess of the word kin. Makes a war report out of a family secret chord progression, a tenor part before dying. Makes white people geniuses. Lynch mob freaks rehearse their show tunes in the courthouse walls they take for mirrors. Rehearse for a president's pat on the head, a pat on the head that they take for audience laughter. Doesn't matter if you name a building Du Bois 1,000 times. A lot of sirs in the soup, a lot of speed. Treaty ink stained teeth write themselves a grin. Imperialist speechwriter grins boil over in my ink riddled mind. A non-future dripping with real people. Real people, not poem people. A street with no servants somehow, a soul singer somehow in the West, constellation eternity, or the poor man's fish order, this half of a spirit or husk of a messiah, religious memorabilia made from the wood of a prison farm fence. System makes a psychic adjustment for sibling domestic colonies in the not-for-profit Tuesday meltdowns. We do straightforward time. Dehydration takes hold of the police state. Every 28 hours, the house dares the slave. What turns you into a sergeant mention? Turns you into a landslide of sirens. Layout sketches pass between deacons, plot twists provided by white beggars in a black city, the fathers who Reagan flicked. Kicking garbage, thinking about race of production, notebooks dangling out the car window. We go the way of now extinct hand gestures, Mediterranean sandals and underground moods in tandem. Whoever I am today is still your friend. Crooked cops and crooked news junkies. Amadou Diallo is your mind on military science. Mario Woods, the gang enhancement they even put on God. If you turn down the television low enough, you can hear San Francisco begging for more war profiteering. We will not live forever, but someone out here wants us to, as mice pouring through an hourglass in Olympus, Babylon, or Babylon Olympus. Subway car smoke session making its way into an interrogation room. Maybe it's all just one room. It's definitely all just one smoker. Live from your monotheistic toy collection, poor people writing letters in your books about Malcolm X, ice picking the art, new floorboards for Watt's prophecy, pen twitching over scrap paper, pen tweaking while smoothly a bus driver delivers incarcerated children. The Lord's door opens. Thank you.
Thank you, Tongo. Yeah. All right, next up, I would like to invite James Cagney. Welcome to the mic.
Oh, there we go. Hey, everybody. This is a great night. The piece I wanted to share is what I've been working on, I guess, during lockdown. When I was maybe 7, 8, 9 years old, I lost contact with the first and best friend that I ever had. And in a lot of ways, I wanted to, because I end up going back and thinking about the last day that I saw him, which happened to be my birthday. And it feels like ever since that happened, maybe once every year or 15 months, I think of him and revisit that time period. And I wanted to go back and free myself from recycling that memory. This is called a Vanishing Twin Syndrome. It's a long poem, but I'm gonna read maybe 3 little chunks from it. I will be abandoned here, where it's dark and untalked about. I don't have the weather for this, to rein in all the selves I've been too naive to value. My sky quilting caterpillar shut, my heart's atonal clumsiness. It's not fear of amputation keeps me from reaching out. Everything I have is severed. It's the same fear Frost has of the morning sun. I too sweat mass under dominion of certain glances. I am the single twin born twice, a dollop of silver splashed onto a mirror. Standing at this chicken wire threshold, I remain loyal to the fraternity of the forgotten, even as this house crumbles into tombstones and everything, its alphas, omegas, and their outmoded almanacs oxidize into ashes. I am the single twin born twice, an unfinished whole. To whom shall I pledge this rosary of tongue blood can be remade from scratch? If you don't mind my terrific thirst, let me lick the pop rocks smudging your palm. This anointment, its makeshift rite of passage, a vaccine for memory sickness, stain of ash after the covenant of brothers. Boyhood being a religious science with expressive ceremonies of high antiquity, hazing backroom marks, big 6 boneyards of body rocking DJ squads, bottles, blunts, and backseat Hail Marys, chakra spinners in trues and vogues, sequencers dripping unclear DNA samples, sideshow smokeouts, barbecues of vinyl and burned rubber, sand glass bulbs counting decades in falling dice. What private never goes soldier? Let the war at home draft him all 10,000 days. If I stick out my tongue, you'd think I'd been lapping blood over sugar. Maybe I'll stop right there.
That was incredible. Thank you, James. Thank you for sharing. Next up, I'd like to invite Jokoy Gayarina. Welcome up to the mic.
Can you hear me? Yes. Yes?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just share a little of our story. So that's my poem. I think my best poem is my survival. So wait a second, 1 second. This is No more missing and murdered Indigenous people, women or people or POC, people of color, people of other, quote unquote other. I'm Chiricahua, and that means visible in our language. Apache means enemy in our enemy's language. We lost over 90% of our people just 100 years ago. We are struggling to reclaim our culture, our language, our ceremonies, our being radically for the last 20 to 30 years. I mean, really trying. I've been blessed to train with basically saved our tribe, Leland Michael Darrow. Our women's, girls, full coming of age regalia. We are, yeah, so we lost over 90% of our people just 100 years ago. We struggle daily to exist. My particular story is that I am hybrid First Nation, Irish Nation, and many other things. And I suffered from being unusual, from being an unprotected non-white, despite very light skin person, and also from being white in a darker community. So I was raped and molested and violated and abused by our family, and they in turn had been abused by the missionaries and these different things. So we have struggled and struggled and struggled to survive. I've been blessed to go a Standing Rock, to participate in all of the, so many of the water protector and First Nation protest and women's rights movements and all kinds of things. I've been very, very blessed. Cross-platform artist, activist. So I give my story as myself being the poem that started doing. My father was, my grandmother was an artist. I was doing beadwork when I was 4. I'm a master beader. This is a very large piece I've just been working on for the last 7 months. I'm not wanting to be ego or narcissistic. I just use my being as the voice of people surviving who other people don't want to survive. When 9/11 happened, all these people were running around saying, oh God, and I'm not saying, I feel for them as well. They were saying, I feel so unprotected, so unsafe, so violated, so vulnerable. Myself, as a hybrid First Nation person who is androgynous two-spirit, who's an artist, who's a woman, that's how I lived every moment of my life with no let up. And now with the COVID, I'm a member of 2 groups, Theater Movement International and Radical Medicine, as well as Idle No More and our native things that go on. Working on a lot of plays and things that deal with people's experience in this time period, which for me, I've been struggling with displacement for the last 5 or more years in the Bay because the rents are so ridiculous. So there's just this whole culmination of things that are at you all the time. So in our groups, we've been working on pieces that express across the world experiences that people are having now, and express the other side as well of privilege and entitlement and distinction from the reality of suffering. You know, people are suffering, but they cut off their own suffering so that they don't feel other people's suffering. I'm going to do a really, really quick piece that is very, very new, and I'm just now working on it. This pandemic is an unprecedented moment, historic moment. So many are going through hardships in this time of crisis. We Africans fear for the future. I feel, as an African, that we can turn adversity into opportunity. The opportunity to fast track the process of decolonization on our continent. Africa is so often seen as a land of disease and death. This presumption must be changed. This is the time to do it. Outbreaks of the COVID-19 virus with alarmingly high deaths preoccupy the West's attention and resources. This is the time for Africa to become autonomous and self-reliant. This is the time for us to wean ourselves of exploitive neo-colonial relations. I, Helen Banco, have complete faith in our Africa's future as an independent, self-empowered, forward-moving entity. Thank you for putting up with my rambling. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. So I just want to do a quick time check for everyone. We've had so much encouragement from people wanting to sign up and contribute. So we have a few more people who are on our list for the open mic. So I just want to let people know I acknowledge, like, I want to respect everyone's time and space. And so it is close to 8 p.m., but we will keep going with the open mic. So please continue to stay and continue to support the following readers. So next up, we have Norm Maddox. Welcome, Norm. Thanks for sticking with it. I know you're on the East Coast.
And the ones that are yet to be heard, thank you so much. Okay. What you cultivating? Seeding fear in the psyche. Ignorance is the fertile ground. So hate will be the harvest. That's one piece that leads into this earth science lesson. This intelligence bigot is a caricature of stupid. Unfortunate for cartoonists, there is no satire to mock, no irony to unravel in this political reality show that is 2/3 government plus the gray line of justice that is really the white patriarchal pond that is this government, not our government, as if it were ever for the people. Systems ruining this life for all the rest of us, where equality never entered the domain of equal. Learning careers stopped by the classroom teaching that is standardized with curriculum that considers the educators and their students as workarounds for the mediocre to feel successful. This mountain of ignorance is a treacherous journey. Too tall to climb, can't get over it. All I got is this little shovel, can't get under it. All roads blocked, trying to get around it. Wear it down with global weathering, Mother Earth is working on that front. Earth shaking, causing niches, raging rivers, carving canyons. Too many millennia, too much time to wait for sanity to fill my humanity with a mountain of ignorance bearing down on my neck sideways, because I'm still standing, bringing the gravity that causes landslides, changing the faces on this ignorant wreck of geology to reflect light instead of the shade, pummeling all that fall in the shadow of this mountain of ignorance. Peace. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Norm. Thank you. All right. Next up, we have Lady Rev. Welcome up to the mic.
Right on. I'm gonna do 2 quick pieces and get about your way. Can y'all hear me good? Okay. This one I just started writing today, so I'm still trying to figure it out. But it's called A Thin Line Between Life and Death. You think because you be breathing that you actually be alive. You think your tear-filled, dry eyes see the same truths that men see. Feet stand between cliffs and open air. Hope stands between jumping and skydiving. Purpose be left irrelevant on bathroom floors. If you hold your breath long enough, you'll witness angels sinning with closed eyes. Turn off your conscience, you'll hear spirits gossiping about our ancestors' failures. Who do you think you are? This be flatland. Every line is meant to be crossed. And then this last piece is a part of a series of poems that I wrote to my mother, called A Letter to My Dead Mother. This is like the last poem in that series. Let's put it up real quick. Just a second. Okay. I don't hate you, even though I used to. I miss you, and my bruises have changed colors. I don't think you did this to me on purpose. The day that you died, you apologized for the first time, and I could remember that forever. Pain can be hereditary. It travels in DNA. I'm almost sure every time you hit me, you didn't even know who you became. I just wish you were here today, not to be with me, but simply to explain. I need to understand why you chose me to be recipient of your unfiltered pain. Sticks and stones break bones, but dirt still stains. I'm haunted by the fact that I'll never get the clarity I desire, and that my little sister will never love or respect me either. That I'll always struggle emotionally inside, but my outside has gotten better. That I bear the name you gave me and carry the light of your character. I'll always be your messenger, but my dear dead mother, do you know you left me in 1,000 of pieces that I can't put back together alone?
Thank you for sharing. All right, next up, we have Laura Roth. Welcome.
Hey, do you listen to me? Hi, everyone. I've been having problems with my internet. I'm alive here in Mexico City. And I want to thank Mia for all the time you have and patience that you have had with all of us. I'd like to share this poem. It's called A She-Wolf, and it goes like this. I'll leave without saying goodbye, but at least I'll try to survive, said the she-wolf, working hard, writing hard, intuition as the only love weapon, dare to fail inside of the woods at night, to define fire, walk, wait, owl, restless, and fearless as a river before getting inside the ocean. And this one is the last one. Birds are singing, and so some letters in between my fingers. Opportunities seem not enough to love what we really love. We wake up at the horizon of life, unforeseen alchemists with reckless rays of light. Community is my new favorite word that I believe in. Today, I exchanged a meal for a book, a smile for a while, a word for a poem, and I saw some trees. Besides, I cannot be less than brave. I cannot break. I'm really holding my breath to dive deep inside, undertake. I promise, this world is ready, and so am I. The longest river wants us to fight. Smile. Oh, please, just one last spring, they pray. They want me to wait, to forget about happiness. With a wound in my pocket and the map of a train, I will trace the last poem. I will face this old frame. Birds are singing, and so some letters in between my fingers. Opportunities seem not enough to love what we really love. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you were here.
Guys.
Thank you. So next up.
Bye. Thank you, Nian.
Oh yeah, of course. Next up, we have Kwasi Imara. Welcome.
Gracias. Oh, Joshua.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. This is called Mill Piece Art Think. The topic is like looking at a piece of art and describing it. Angle of light struck the piece way only a spark of mindful spacing could cleft air about sound sculpting, thus became the poetry a scribe noted. To how a fine aligned chisel did nibble away with hammer resist play to strike only tapping out all work about telling the body contra corpse, yet to perceive meant a steady suspension, attend lattice between the whole and thought as forego all as ought be to in accord this spec to mitigate spectrum from rap to all. The pricing shades there illume with contour, a deaf end to void glimpse extraction, cleaving how folk high burn eye as two hold be unison third frame we placing art thou thee does die affect among person ages peer over shoulders. Look on work in how ward head for thought still while bench rests handy wicks past stint torch burn then guest second calming restless backstand ideal this trade product much consumption. Hey, is there talking background? Okay, let me peer over shoulders, look in on work, in toll, ward, head for thought, still while bench rests handy, wicks past stint, torch burned, then guest second coming, restless, back stand ideal. This trade product, much consumption, paved deal in detail, on steady draft, tune, bold, marks, etched akin chalk. There'll be dust off goes in pursuit against overcompensate. Those left untouched state raw nerves hesitate out climb. Those a mount a level geared being all fresh call style remind natural. A new world beyond yet behind laying waste matter and growth with cumbersome complex efficacy to effect a nurtured efficiency where transverse lucid rhythm be weaned modal hand time off dial outwork clock ladder perfect present past presents marriage mirage mitigated facade out through basis oasis. Stare be vice grip, hold attention unto told on spans derive a bridge versing objects closer a priori guest lakes button nose press. Days as clear lapsing settled dust demystify how rays shine to stir ensemble. May center stage set motion contra repose be an audience while mused together all vestiges draped over unveiling partition window open form. Tis and lo goes there a named tamed noun unwon installing not known how does do gets paid or in cost time over mind under track patient raise experience quake gesture at leisure own via zone captivate watchers waters wheel mill to steal in frame grid bride grid stand pin under what hair bleeds breath those seeds of breath be facing art science junk that good bad ugly trunk pick and pull assemble ledges jump to love with topple cause nudge shatter impel bend up dust cloak past addition omit things left of either outdistance of last complete ordeal deem long genuine gain from cometh mission accept this will back as in on in as thine pleasure exit did treasure a clove rin there absolute assemble risk assemblance those perch chance search risk they fell lures doubt shadow wing cloud only hand those gift to be wrapped on box ass. So that's basically like something about looking at art and then describing what you see. I think it's more, you might get it more if you read it, but then that's how it is.
Thank you for sharing. Appreciate it. So next up, we have just another time check. So we have 5 more readers. Thank you all for sticking with us. It's been an incredible evening, such a range of poetry and in contributions. So next we have Lanisha Murphy joining us. Welcome to the mic.
Thank you, everyone. Let me pull my piece up. This one I just wrote the other day, and it's called Conversations with Medea. Who the fuck do I think I am? I thought I was your daughter, your one and only child, and your firstborn, the one you abandoned for work, for play, the one raised by grandmothers and godmothers, by day and night child care center and Vermont Playtime, and great aunts every summer, and babysitters whose son and daughters molested her for years. I was the daughter who overachieved to win your love, who was perfectly mannered, well-behaved, seized only at the appropriate times as to not make you late for your night shifts. I was the daughter who could get up by an alarm on her own at 11, hopped multiple city buses to go to the gifted schools across town, across cities, avoided the drug dealers and the rapists, got all her homework done, and didn't make too much noise so you could sleep. I was a daughter who babysat full-time at age 12, brought in extra money for wants and even some of her needs, was trustworthy enough to stay home 3 days during the riots, alone, while buildings burned half a block up the street. I was the daughter who watched you die multiple times, sat by your side, called 911 when your limp body wouldn't get off the floor. I told you they shouldn't have discharged you. Watched you have 14 surgeries in 3.5 years and helped you pack a hole in your stomach for 4 more. I was the daughter who didn't commit suicide because you had no one left. You would have no one left, no matter how badly I wanted to leave this world. I stayed to be perfect, and you never even knew. I was the daughter who got high to escape the pain, drank myself into oblivion, and longed to leave, and only muddled through because I found God. I was the daughter who you shamed for getting saved, for reading the word, because when my little light shone, it illuminated your darkness. I was the daughter who played the role, graduated, and then graduated again, becoming the helper to others because I never had any. I am the daughter who stayed, forgave, protected, and lived. That is who the fuck I am. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. All right, so next up, I'd like to welcome Donald Williams up to the mic.
Hey everybody, I am Mr. Donald Williams, and I just want to say that I have enjoyed listening to everybody's poems. It's always a privilege to listen to other people. Again, I'm Mr. Donald Williams, and this is a poem that I wrote called She a Dime Piece. Okay. She is so beautiful. Slim body with the wide hips, dark chocolate skin, ebony eyes that'll hypnotize any brother. And this may sound crazy, but I just want to say, God bless your mother for blessing this world with such a beautiful lady. It's amazing. The way your beauty makes me sweat. I want to caress you, then undress you when that makes you wet. Kiss your skin, pull your hair, kiss you again, then next. A no disturb sign at the door. How did you guess? I like kissing, tongue twisting action. I ain't capping, no fiction. I need your body to ease this hard addiction. I should call her a sergeant. The way she makes me stand at attention. I'ma do her like KFC. Give her that one piece and I ain't talking about no chicken. This ain't no dinner room. As soon as I cop her and get her in the room, it's gonna go like bang, bang, bang. John Witherspoon. My tongue is like a rattlesnake in the garden. It can slither too. Talk to me, but talk dirty. This ain't an interview. But she is so fine. Slim at the top, curvy at the bottom like a bottle of wine. And you see, compared to her, I'm just a nickel. I'm just a nickel trying to holler at a marvelous dime. And here's a penny for your thoughts. Would you like to hang out with me sometime? If not tonight, then tomorrow is fine. So then I hit you up. And if I don't get an answer, I'll just try again until I get lucky. Swing by to get you like I'm Spider-Man. Your bottom is popping like the grease inside a frying pan. I just want to tap it or even slap it with the mighty hand. Because that's how beautiful you are to me. Beautiful like the sweet sounds of a harp playing in the afternoon. Sexy like the delicate coating of a Snicker bar. Sexy like the spring breeze that teases me by brushing up against my skin. And girl, I just want you so bad. I want you so bad that I would run miles just to make it worth the while to hold you in my arms, where you're nice, cozy, and warm and don't have to worry about a thing. Because that's how beautiful you are to me. You are a dime piece. Now I'm going to tell you the obvious. It's obvious that your body is off the chain, and after I get to know your name and we find out that we got the same things in common, I'm gonna go ahead and flame up the candles. Ask her if she can handle what I got, because I hate to dismantle her spine when I intertwine this love thing in her. I'm looking to get things that ease my mind, and after I spit game to the stick dime, I'm gonna get mine. We gonna flip things. Us hooking up is a basketball shot. I never brick, man. She a dime. I'll keep it a buck. This isn't quick change. I'ma fire it up with this love gun like I'm Rick James, because she is so beautiful, so fine to me, a masterpiece. She is an absolute dime piece. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you for sharing. All right, we got a few more readers. So next up we have Carlos Smith. Welcome to the mic.
I appreciate you letting me on. Everybody can hear me good? All right. Tell me, have you heard a story that took place not long ago about an angel up in heaven? They said he up and ran away from home. Heard that he had unfinished business. So back on earth, he had to flee. Well, you know, I'm so elated because he's standing right here next to me. And when God woke up this morning, and he called out his name. And when he didn't answer, heaven will never, ever, ever be. Heaven will never be the same. Dear son, let me start off by saying, please forgive me. It took me this long to work up enough courage to translate these emotions lyrically. I couldn't find the energy to search within me the tools to break down the barriers of my vulnerability. You see, my comprehension couldn't comprehend the compromise of writing you in past tense. Because from the day you left, I've been fucked up ever since. Like, how is a king to feel when his life has stole his prince? I'm left without substance. A father is supposed to protect his child, but you were gone before I got the chance to see you smile. I remember when your mother told me we were pregnant. It felt like all the Christmases and birthdays wrapped in one present, like walking into your grandmother's house as she prepares your favorite dish, but the aroma is 100 times more pleasant. You, my son, was a blessing. You remember when I used to sing to you when you were in your mommy's tummy? Or how you would turn into a Karate Kid every time she would walk away from me? I always found that funny. It was like you were communicating how much you loved me. And that's what hurts. Because my heart swelled up so much from the thought of you that losing you, it burst. You were the physical libation to quench my thirst, but the best flowers are always picked first. And my beautiful petal was plucked at birth. Before he could be tainted by this villainous turf, because this world is so ugly, the way they make black boys have to question their worth. See, you, my son, were too beautiful for earth. Your footprints stains my heart without you ever taking first step. And I apologize because your story should have never been something I kept. Now, this is something I can't resist. I must tell the world my child exists. I want them to know I lost someone dear. I want them to know my child was here. Even in the death, you know that you won, because everything I do is for you, my son. I live for you, my son. I give for you, My son, I press on. For you, my son, I stay strong. For you, my son, I have to be real. For you, my son, I have to heal. For you, my son, life ain't been no crystal stair. Deck of cards haven't been dealt fair. I'll repair this heart that's been torn in two, but nothing compares to the pain of losing you. But you are my purpose, for now I breathe for two, because every time I inhale, it's an ode to you. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you for sharing. All right, so next we have McLeet Dix. Are you here with us?
Hi, yes, thank you.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. If time allows, I'm gonna read 2 or 3 short poems. The first one, If Mary Had Tried to Save Jesus, a poem from Mike Brown. That Sunday spent her. She spent her Sunday spilling her hot tears over his cold chest, preparing herself for a lifetime of genuflecting over in front of his grave and kissing the cold atop his black tombstone instead of black skin, temples and baby fingers buried under sheets of cold earth. No one prepared her for this kind of empty. Saturday she pleaded, "Forgive him, officer, for he knows not what odium he brings out in you." The clock struck 12. The pistol sounded 6 times. Monday doesn't resurrect temple kisses or baby boys, just more tombstones, more tears. A couple of specters make headlines, then more silence. She sits at the tomb for the forgotten sons, with eyes screwed shut and palms flat against the ground. She holds her body still and prays that he can hear her. Mary speaks to her boy in flowers. She takes too long to reply. She imagines he forgives her for the wait. She sends bouquets weeks after they're due. She waits for the seasons to pluck petals off the buds, for the ground to swallow up the stems. It's as if he's waiting for her the next time she shows up again. This next poem is called Thistles for Ophelia. Scorpion grasses, used as a bookend, dried and chapped. Love is a faint smell, bereft from their weathered petals. Awful thing. Seeks out moments of false strength to remind you who you wished you belonged to. Begging incessantly, does loving someone matter if the other person can't feel it? How does one celebrate that? It's not that we fell in love, rather, we were eased into it, wholehearted, full-bellied, always and always and always, and I never questioned it because you were mine. Not in the way that chokes you, like when a dog tries to chase a sunset at a pace faster than their owner is willing to tread, but in the way that when you were 4 and finally braved the trek into a dark and unforgiving room all alone in your house, it was the way you grit your teeth and said that you could turn on the lights all on your own. Triumph was a fluorescence that leapt from your mother's chandelier to cling to your skin in adoration, mine, in the way that you are your own, mine in the way that I am yours even when you lay with another and another and another, and mine in the way that you took all honey dripping golden and new and always and always and always from my lips. So there is no sweetness left here. Now, when I sit in the back seat of strangers' cars, all that is left to suck off the tip of my tongue is the bitter, the empty, the disappointed, and the hollow. Hollow in the way that I don't know how to turn on the light anymore. Disappointed by the flowers wilting at the hollowed place between my chest, shouldering this love. Bitter at the way I still hold this reverence. Empty at the realization that the poem closes here. And I don't know if I have time for one poem. How am I on time?
We're gonna have the next reader go and close us out, but
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Happy full moon.
I didn't share that next piece. So our last reader for this evening is another favorite poet and a dear friend, Josiah Luis Alderete. Welcome, Josiah.
Hola, buenas noches. So, this has just been my mantra lately, so I'm gonna keep repeating it. Going out to mi gente. ¿Qué somos, mi gente? ¿Qué somos? Pues somos starlight that was forgotten in the glove box of Xochipilli's yellow El Camino. Somos nopal espinas that pricked our tata abuela's dreams of living here in los United States. Somos scarred childhood momentos that are tattooed forever on El Cucuy's left arm. Somos the torn out páginas of a history book that no one bothered to read anyway. ¿Qué somos, mi gente? Somos the candelas still burning on the ofrendas back in our old neighborhood. Somos a rabbit-shaped wound that you can see quite clearly on Cuyu Xuacui if you go out right now and look up at the night sky. Somos the broken taillights of a dot-com conquistador's car as he drives over shell mounds on his way to the next century's chingadera. Somos the busted, broken statues of our gods still buried under there in Teotihuacan. Somos a cowboy hat on a Tigres del Norte album cover. ¿Qué somos, mi gente? Pues somos the first drops of divina sangre shed by Huitzlipochtli in defense of his mama. Somos the sweet, sweet taste of nopal syrup and amaranth cakes that the pinche conquistadors mistook for the taste of human flesh and blood. Somos the wrinkles of our abuelita's skin. Somos the flayed skin of Shepi Toltec. Somos the severed parts of our own goddesses. Somos gods who leave their own body parts behind to help create time. Somos ancestors who are children. Somos a pile of huesos buried out on la frontera that no one's ever gonna find. Somos brown-skinned children in American cages left to die. ¿Qué somos, mi gente? ¿Qué somos? Pues somos our own milagros. Somos our own balazos. Somos our own mistranslations. Somos our own misinterpretations. Somos our own migrations. Somos the smell of death quietly emanating off the papayas in front of the mercados round 16th Street. Somos the last box of brown Ben Davis pants buried in the terremoto ruins after the big one finally hits San Pancho. ¿Qué somos, mi gente? Somos Spanish surnames and the last known European address of Doña Malitzin. Somos words that white America can pronounce. Somos mariposas de humo that disappear as they flutter across that pinche border. Somos constellations that you can only see if you hold the sky up to a smoking mirror. Somos Spanglish-speaking cempasúchils, watered with agua that comes from ni de aquí, ni de allá. ¿Qué somos, mi gente? ¿Qué somos?
Thank you, Josiah. Thank you for taking us home with that piece.
Gracias, familia.
So with that, everyone, thank you so much for being in this space and sharing this space with all of us and hanging in there for an extra half hour than we usually have. So I just want to encourage folks to continue supporting MOAD in whatever way you can. There are ways to support us financially, which is donations through our website, or we also take donations via phone, by text. If you text the number 56512 and then type the word MOAD SF, that is extremely helpful. Also, showing up to all of our programs is a great way to support. This open mic series, as I mentioned in the beginning, it has increased in frequency. So instead of just being monthly every third Thursday, we're doing it every other Thursday. So I'm super excited to be hosting this again on May 21st. And we have another feature calling in from outside of the Bay Area, which is going to be wonderful. Noel Quinones will be joining us on the 21st. And also MOAD is doing so many other programs. So please check out our website, MOAD SF. We're doing artist studio visits, virtual tours, a community resilience program. So there's a lot of ways for you to continue staying active and interact with MOAD, and we truly appreciate it. So thank you again, everyone, for sharing in this space. I think in a lot of ways, this is a healing space. So thank you, everyone. You're welcome to unmute as you leave.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate all the performers. Thank you, Nia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you. Thanks to everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much for being out there and listening.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for the opportunity. Oh man, Nia, you were great. Thank you.
Thank you.